Hi, my name is Brianna Donnelly, and the artist I chose to research for my final project is George Seurat. In the top right is one of my favorites of his paintings titled A Lighthouse on Honfleur. The bottom left image is one of his most well-known artworks titled A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of the Grand Jet. Seurat was born on December 2nd of 1859, and as a child he had always had a love for art. After studying art for a few years, he decided to attend the Brest Military Academy for 1 year. After this year was over, he decided to return to Paris, where he would spend the next 2 years mastering the art of black and white drawing. Seurat died on March 29th of 1891 from an unknown cause. One of the reasons that I chose to research Seurat was because I love his style of art. He is very well known for his pointillism styles, and in his artwork he is able to capture every detail without distracting it from the main subject. Another reason that I chose Seurat was because of the moments in his artwork he chose to capture. Looking at any one of his artworks, there's a story behind it, and I have always had a love for paintings with water. Water can be a challenge to create without looking like a blue blob, and in Seurat's work, the water is always well painted and beautiful. Another reason that I chose Seurat was because of the style. When I was in high school, I tried to recreate one of his artworks, and it took me several hours to cover just the size of an index card. After this was when my appreciation for the style really sparked. Seurat was involved and lived through a few different styles and periods. Pointillism, Post-Impressionism, Neo-Impressionism, Divisionism, and modern art are the main styles and periods that he was involved in. He is most well known for his Neo-Impressionism and is said to have been the leader in this movement. A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of the Grand Jet, that was completed in 1886, was considered to be the founding masterpiece of Divisionism. George Seurat was a painter whose medium was oil paints. The technique that he used and was most well known for is pointillism. Pointillism is a technique where the painting in which small, distinct dots of color are applied in patterns to form an image. While most people saw poetry in his work, Seurat himself saw science. Seurat was fantasized with the color theory, and it is shown in his work his scientific approach. He believes, much like music, art can invoke emotions and have a feeling of harmony. There were a few influences in his life that affected his work. His family was one of those influences. Seurat received his earliest art lessons from his uncle when he was young. He began his formal art education in 1875, where he began attending a local art school and studying under a sculptor named Justin Lequesne. He attended École des Beaux-Arts to study art more under Henry Lemon. After he visited the Fourth Impressionist exhibition and saw radical new works by Impressionist painters Claude Monet and Camille Picasso, the Impressionists' way of conveying light and atmosphere influenced Seurat's own thinking about painting. The book, Easy on the Unmistakable Signs of Art by Humbert de Somerville, was one of many that had a significant effect on Seurat's artistic direction. The book talked about the relationships between lines and images and the future course of aesthetics. The Société des Artistes Indépendants group was a group of other rejected artists. They considered themselves to be the pioneers of modern art. Seurat became a part of this group, and in this group he met Paul Signac. After meeting him, they became close friends, and together the two of them were responsible for developing the pointillism style. A Sunday afternoon on the island of the Grand Jet is one of Seurat's most famous works. It took him over 2 years, from 1884 to 1886, to paint. It is 10 foot wide and 6 foot and 10 inches tall. It shows people from different social classes engaging in different activities and engaging with each other. Seurat's goal, as he says, is "I want to make modern people, including their essential traits, move about as if they do in those frieze." He also wanted to place them on a canvas organized by harmonious color. This painting is one of the first well-known paintings to be created using pointillism. It was also one of the first works in the Neo-Impressionists movement. Circus is also one of Seurat's most famous works. Because Seurat died at such an early age, he left this piece unfinished. The circus was a popular interest of the current times then, and Seurat was seeking to relate artistic creation and scientific analysis through this piece. The idea influenced many artists following him to attempt this in their work to better understand the meaning and relate the two. Even though this piece was unfinished due to Seurat's early death, it was still put on display in the 7th Salon d'Independance, and it is still on display today in the Muséum d'Orsay. Although Seurat died at the early age of 31, he did come from a fairly wealthy family, so he was financially well off. His financial status didn't have much to do with his art because he was not around long enough to make money off of his art. In the time that he was alive, he did become a rather well-known artist for developing a new style of Neo-Impressionism, but it wasn't until after his death that he became so widely known and appreciated. His works are now at several of the more famous museums, including the Met, the Museum of Modern Art, the Paul Getty Museum, and the Muséum d'Orsay. Seurat left a legacy behind after he died. He is one of the artists responsible for the Neo-Impressionism movement and for the pointillism style. His art helped to advance the theory of Impressionism and open many doors for new artists such as Adam Drain, Paul Senick, Camille Picasso, and many more artists. Seurat had a wife and 2 kids that he was able to keep secret from the entire world, including his own family. It wasn't until a few days before his death that he let people know that he had a wife and 2 children. When Seurat died on March 29th of 1891, within 2 months, 3 generations of the Seurat family tree have died. His second son died only a month later from what they believe is the same disease that killed Seurat, and his father died 2 months after that. Seurat has created over 280 finished artworks. Another fun fact about one of Seurat's most famous paintings, A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of the Grand Jet, is it is one of the most parody-style paintings. TV shows such as Family Guy, Sesame Street, The Simpsons, The Office, Looney Tunes, and many more have taken the casts and put them in place of where the people are in this painting to replicate it.